Tonight we will continue our new series highlighting trading signals capable of forecasting future movement. Hello everyone, I am the stock signaler and I have built multiple algorithms and set up backtesters to determine likelihoods of future movement. There are a few open signals currently for AMD that indicate potential future movement. The first algorithm signal that we'll look at this evening is my original RSI extreme indicator. This is a overtraded indicator, therefore future movement should go in the opposite direction that it arrived. I have 56 results historically that were studied. Now what is interesting about this one that I see, it has a 90% successful reverse rate within the first 10 bars. In our case, we're going to be looking at days. And it has a 0% delay rate. Now this will be interesting as we move into tonight's topic, but something I noticed during my studies is what I call a signal delay. Sometimes a signal occurs, however, the signaled movement may not occur right away. Most of my algorithms, like this one, are reversal indicators. However, some are continued impulsive movement, where the stock will continue to move in the direction it has been moving. So the next 10 bars in our current case could present a high before moving down. So we'll go into the chart for this one in particular, and it loads the next 25 bars. Now this one's interesting because it most likely has already played out. So this was a bearish indicator. It signaled on 19 January based on the closing price. So it looks like 174.23, the signal was triggered, and it basically said we should move downward at some point in the future into these green boxes. Now the larger green box is 100% of where the stock typically trades down into, and the smaller box is 50% of all that movement. Normally I use the 50% as like a target area, but as long as it enters the large green box, this is considered successful. So in the current case of the one that we're looking at, this is already successfully moved bearish. It does not have to continue downward. Now we'll move to another indicator really quick. This is a multiple time frame aggressive indicator that was created, and our direction in this case is bullish on 179 prior data points. The movement within the first 10 bars tends to be successful at a 97% success rate. It does have a delay of 69%. Let's take a look at what the chart is showing us. So the next 25 bars, we'll zoom into it. Basically, the signal occurred at the closing price on the 22nd of January, which was 168.18. Basically, this is saying we reached a point that shows that we should be bullish moving forward. However, the delay zone is pretty large in this case with the red boxes. So 100% of the delays, when they occur, fall into the large red box. 50% of those fall within the smaller red box. So in this case, based on today's trading, 23 January, we have already moved down into the large red box. We may have already completed the delay. Basically it said we should move down into the red box before heading back up into the green area. And it may be possible, so all it has to do to become successful is go above the closing price from the signal date. So at 168.18, today's high was actually above that at 169.63. So technically this achieved not only the delay low by dropping all the way down to 164.27, it has also achieved the high. Now, do I think this movement is over? Possibly not. We could either go down tomorrow, or we could continue to go up higher into the green box. So what does this look like? The first box that I've plotted here on my trading view chart is the most likely low area, that delay I was talking about. And then I've plotted the green box of the target upward movement. Now one of the other things that I also study is modified wave theory. And so what I did for this one is I tried to figure out where are we from a big wave standpoint. And so we'll mark some of those things out. So I figure our wave began back here. We've been in an impulsive wave up. We're part of a corrective wave that I believe overall is going to take the market down shortly. However, we are at the last hurrah of that. So we have wave 1 up, 2, 3, 4, and 5 inside of wave 5. I believe we are nearing the end of that. So right now, 1, So the fifth wave has 5 waves inside of it. I believe I've marked 1 and 2 where they occurred. 3 most likely topped out with our high on the 22nd of January. Wave 4 could have been that little bottom today. Like I said, we had to move low, and as you can see, we moved into the small box that we were required to do so. Based on the historical data would suggest. So the next step should be an upward to finish not only our wave 5 that would be of the white 5 series, but also our final market top for AMD for this year is my projection. And that should occur somewhere up here in the larger green box. Now, some of the other things to consider are some of the basic fib retracement. So one of my subscriber services that I work with, I have more detailed data that actually tells us what retracement Fibonacci levels that it can bounce up to. I just laid out some of the common ones that we could hit. So the right side, those data points are based on the yellow waves. So right now we are in a wave extension off of wave 3 to complete the yellow wave 5. And so it points out, we could end it, typically we'll end at one of these called out lines, so either 138% of what wave 3 did, 150%, 161, 176, and so on. We probably won't go above 200, so I would place a likely high to AMD below 185. I also laid out the same levels regarding the white wave count, and that is over on the left. I called out the same levels. A 138 is probably too high, and that's at 138%. That's at 186. So we'll probably top out based on this one, maybe around between 179 and 182 at the most, which is still a decent way up from where we are today. It looks like we closed at 168.42, and in after hours at this time of night we are at 170.19 so far. So we're on our way up to those top targets. I do not believe we're going to go up much more. Now, there is another piece of this that I found interesting. I was looking back at another item that already triggered, and this was based on a overtraded. So I had a bearish signal, MACD, that was overtraded, 383 historical results. Here is the success table. Basically, it says over the next 10 bars, it moves in the bearish direction 91% of the time. Next 25 bars, it moves in the bearish direction 94% of the time. Now, what's interesting here is we really haven't done that yet. So the signal price was at the close at 146.56. Basically, in order for this to remain successful over the next 10 or 25 trading bars, we would need to go below this level of 146.56, which we never did. Right now, the delay, our peak high so far is up here at 174.72, which we achieved yesterday. And based on the levels that I was calling out earlier, saying that we could probably get all the way up to 179 or 182 at the most, means we're still in our delay area. We could still be going upward. Now, why am I calling this out as something interesting? Well, these can fail. Just because we've hit these in the past doesn't mean that we actually will come back down. Again, like I said, 91% success rate over the next 10 bars, 94% success rate over the next 25. There are failures in there. So one of the possibilities, we never go back down into these green boxes, and this trading session just becomes a failure. Okay, cool, that happens. The other possibility is somewhere down the road here, sometime between today and February the 20th, we could end up back below our signal close price of 146.56. Well, if we're above 170 today and expected to go above that, yet we could still drop below 146.56 over the next couple of weeks, that is a significant drop. Well, what could do that? We are in earnings season. Earnings are expected out on 30 January for AMD. So what does this look like in relation to the whole grand picture? I also have this box plotted. So this large yellow box on my trading view chart is that zone where we have where we could go back down. Now, one of the things I am suggesting could happen, I still think it's probably unlikely, but it is a possibility to keep in mind. So if we completed 3, let's say maybe we completed 4 today, and now we're on our way up. Well, we could go up to the 30th. It's going to be after hours when earnings are reported, so everyone could think that we're going to do well. The price could go up on the 30th, and then after hours on the 30th, we begin our decline. So the first decline, I don't know, bad outlook. Fed's not going to raise interest rates, or Fed's not going to cut interest rates sometime this year. AMD does have debt due in 2024. If they thought they were going to be able to refinance it at a lower rate, that may not be the case. So what are they going to have to do? Well, if they refinance their debt, it's going to be at a higher interest rate than they originally had it for. And they may have to raise prices in order to cover that debt, or they may have to put a stock offering out there to sell some more stock, which normally is done at a cheaper price, and that does not, it's not welcoming news to shareholders. So that could be interesting as well. So the other thing that could happen is maybe we start down on day one, we get a good chunk of this, and then a couple days later we start going, and eventually we do hit our yellow box. Like I said, we have until February 20th to really hit this yellow box in order for this thing to be successful. This is a possible path. There are catalysts in here. Also, the Fed is in here. So I believe the Fed comes out on the 31st, so the day after earnings. That could be a bloodbath if earnings are bad. So you have maybe poor earnings after market close on the 30th. Fed comes out and they say something along the lines of, we're not going to look at rate cuts this year, or it's not on the table at this time until we see X, Y, and Z still occur. These could be bad things for AMD. So based on all of the signals that we have, we could actually hit all three of these boxes over the next about 3 weeks of trading. So this is my analysis for AMD tonight, and please subscribe and come back for more in the future. Thank you.